Oh my God, we got to finish this car. I'm going to lose the shop. I finally understand why every automotive show on TV or YouTube or whatever, they're always in a hurry and they're always working to the last minute. Now I understand why. Everything I've ever done, I've been behind the eight ball. I've been trying to do stuff in the spare 15 minutes I have here and there. And it's always a rush and and you never do quite as good a job as you think you should do because you got to get it going, you got to get it on the road. Well, for once in my life, I actually have time to do what I need to do. I put a bunch of stuff on the back burner and I decided I'm going to get my car ready for spring. I've got all this work to do. I've got all these parts. I've got time. But I got no motivation. That's why car guys leave stuff to the very end. Because without any kind of pressure to get it done, there's no motivation. So why wouldn't you just sit back in the shop and have a beer and stare at it instead of actually doing it? Well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do my best to stay ahead of this thing. And we're going to get my car ready for spring. We're going to improve the quarter mile times. We're going to improve the drivability. We're going to improve everything all around. So, let's get at her.
My good old fender apron that was out in my garage at minus 30 is pretty much stiff as a goddamn board. Maybe let that warm up before I use it.
First things first, I already tore the top end of my engine apart because I wanted to check out my my hybrid 5.9 Magnum 360 LA engine abomination that I put together last spring. I got another video on that, just describing a little bit better detail on what's going on there, but everything's good, everything's happy. But the one thing that I have to say is I never thought about the fact that my push rods were rubbing against the push rod bores and the heads. So I've got to pull the top end of this thing off and clearance those push rod bores. Apparently, had I paid a little more attention, this is a bigger deal with these Speedmaster and Edelbrock heads than I ever realized. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to try just taking the intake off and doing it without pulling the heads. But if I have to, I'll pop the heads off too. It'll add a lot more of a pain in the ass to it. But let's get after that. Let's see if we can get something done here.
Well, I've gone that far. Screw it, those heads are going to come off. I don't want to have to try and route that stuff all out of there while keeping filings out of the inside of my engine. It's not worth it. I got a set of head gaskets here anyway, so let's just do it right for a change. So after looking at this friggin' driver's side header, I was going to drop the transmission to change the converter, but to do these heads, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier just to pull the engine. So I'm going to just pull the engine, leave the transmission where it is. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to do the whole thing. Well, bam. Magically, the engine's out. And I was hoping to say bam, and the torque converter would be changed. But I just remembered. It's just me. So I got to do that myself. So here's my new converter in the box from TCS Performance Transmissions in Burnaby, BC. I'm hoping it's going to be exactly what I need. I'm expecting it's going to stall in and around 3,500 RPM. And I'm cautiously optimistic that's going to really wake this thing up, especially off the line. But let's just have a look, see what we got. So this is it. They call this their bracket master. I'll just put a little information deal in here to explain more or less exactly what it is. But I'm talking with the guys at TCS. The fella there, you just phone him up and tell him you want to talk converters. And honestly, his name escapes me at this moment because it was a few months ago that I talked to him. But really nice, really knowledgeable fella. And I'm pretty confident he'll be able to help set you straight. Now, whatever you do, take a second, line up your converter and your flex plate and just mark the holes so you know which ones are which. Realistically, you only have to mark one, but I just do all four. Simplifies it. Whichever one you can see from underneath the vehicle when you got all your crap together, you just spin it around to that one and it's quick and dirty. Bing, bang, boom, done. And we slowly fill this converter with the same ATF that's already in the transmission. And basically what I'm having to do is just fill it up a little bit and let it bubble down. And I'll keep doing that as long as I can until it won't take fluid anymore, I guess, and that'll have to be good enough. And if anybody's interested, that's on the left, a stock, what they say is a high stall, but I'm not a believer. Or pardon me, that's on the right. And on the left is my new high-zoot, super awesome, gonna change my life converter from TCS. Well, I said BAM a whole bunch of times, and it didn't just magically go in there, but finally I got my old ass down on the ground and put it in. It was the most trouble I've ever had getting a converter to seat in a transmission, but boy, I tell you, it was also, after struggling for half an hour and getting a wicked cramp in my back, it was the most satisfying final clunk to feel that thing go in and engage in whatever the hell the last thing it is to engage in. So there we go, that's done. So now, to address the next thing is my suspension. I've got these 9010s from Calvert Racing. I'm told that of all the 9010s you can buy these days, these are one of the ones that are going to be good, and you're going to get what you want out of them. So I went with these. I was dead set on the QA1 double adjustables, but then when I realized I could buy 2 Calverts for the front and 2 Calverts for the rear for 3/4 the price of one pair of the QA1s, I decided I'm going to go for these ones, at least for now. They're going to do what I want to do with the car at this point. And yeah, we've got these for the front. Yeah, they got these ones for the rear. These ones are they're 9-way single adjustable rear shocks, and they're nice and long, so they shouldn't top out with my super stock springs in the back. Between these ones in the back and those 9010s in the front, I'm confident I should be able to get my suspension doing what I need to do to make things stick. And that looks like something that's going to allow a little more travel in the front end. That is mint. So these are what I'm replacing. These white ones were on the back. They were supposedly a Summit brand 3-way adjustable drag shock. They were never, I'm going to say they were probably never worth a particular shit. Even when I tried to initially set them, I was never too sure, and they were not they were not confidence inspiring whatsoever, and they certainly didn't do anything for me as far as traction wise, because they weren't worth a damn. Anyway, that's the brand name on them. And anyway, Summit Racing brand drag shocks, do not recommend. The other ones were just some super crummy old stock replacement ones that I put on there when my front Summit Racing brand front 3-way adjustable drag shocks went completely to crap. and one of them you could not get it to extend or retract without, well, you didn't want to do it hardly at all. So from these, there's nowhere to go but up. So that looks like traction, if I ever seen the like of it. Now, the way I sees it, this isn't going to come out very good in video, but you can see that adjuster. Basically, what they tell you to do is turn it counterclockwise all the way, and you'll be a 1. And then turn it clockwise till you want the right setting. Now, I've set these to 6 because according to the Calvert chart, that's the lowest setting for a foot brake car. So I guess that's where we're going to start. But looks real good. Just bolts in just like factory. Lots of room at the tank, even though it doesn't really look like it in this photo or this video. There's lots of room. There's going to be no rubbing. So that's it for now. I still got to put the engine back in, but I've got to do a bit of modification to my my push rod tunnels in my aluminum heads. They're just rubbing the push rods a little bit, so that's just something I got to do before I put the engine together. Drop the engine back in and I'm ready for spring. All it's going to be is a couple months of impatiently waiting, trying to get my car out on the track. But I tell you this, I will be ready. That first test and tune on the way out to the track, I'm so excited. Ideally, the air will be good. It'll be nice, cool spring air. And I'm thinking this thing's going to really improve in the 60 foot, which is going to just bring that improvement right down the whole track. So soon as I can, I'll share some time slips with you. So stick around, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing where I come with this. Thanks for watching.